What chapter of the story of your life are you in today? And how can you make the most of it? Well, greetings once again, friends. This is Pastor Jeff Johnson with St. John's United Church of Christ in Orwigsburg, Pennsylvania, with my weekly devotion. It's always good to be with you. Well, this morning I read from the Paul's letter to the Galatians, chapter 2, during my devotional time, and it got me to remembering a gentleman that I knew very well in my first church back in Indiana who had committed a verse from that chapter to memory, and he would proudly quote it often. You see, his wife had died a couple of years prior, and he had a hard time making the adjustment in dealing with the grief. And he really missed her, and yet he had persistence. He tackled each day with a determination to keep going, to stay active, and to find ways to serve others, usually quietly. So here's the verse that he shared quite often. He said, "I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me." That's Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. Well, despite his life having moved into a different chapter that he didn't plan for or expect, he found his strength and hope through his faith in God and the knowledge that the Spirit of Christ lived in him. That verse became a kind of a motto for him. It kept picking him up when he went through some of his harder days. And so, friends, it can be for all of us. When our life circumstances change, as they will do every so often, we have one thing that is our constant, and that is our faith and trust in God. God's Spirit is in us always, even beyond death. Let's stay close to God. Listen for his voice. Be all we can be for others around us, and therefore make the most of this particular chapter of our lives. I'd like to close with this prayer. Dear God, let us never forget that we, as people of faith, are never alone to face life. Your Spirit lives in us and therefore helps us to live by faith in the Son of God, who loved us and gave himself for us. Amen. Always good to be with you, as I said at the beginning. And it would be wonderful to meet you at St. John's United Church of Christ this coming Sunday. Our worship starts at 10 a.m. Would love to see you. So until then, this is Pastor Jeff saying have a great day and keep looking up.